perfect afternoon here at Aurora Stadium in Launceston, and we're underway. The Cats versus the Hawks. On the ball up, Crawford gets the immediate takeaway. Wide ball. We'll check out the one-on-one shortly. Roughhead brought down by Wachinski. Nice tackle, and he's held up. We'll get a ball up.
Well, the way Crawford kicked that ball, he suggests they're kicking into a 2 or 3 goal breeze. The ball really held up in those conditions. Hawthorn forwards need to be in front in that situation.
I do find here that the ball does go left of screen and the breeze starts to blow hard as Crawford gets the kick inside 50, almost not the mark paid. It was a hit on the arm, play on advantage, Scarlett. From defence, Bartell, and now Mackie. Cats about to go forward for the first time. Long kick with this breeze, very long, and you might be right, Spud. That breeze looks like it's worth a couple at least. We apologise, some maybe having some technical difficulties with the sound. We apologise for that. Guerra. Campbell-Brown. Held up by Bartell. Perfect afternoon for football here at Aurora Stadium. Now Gillam, who's been in good form.
He's got a big job today, Dwayne. He's on Tom Hawkins.
And the ball out of play on the wing in front of Young and Corey. Joel Corey, all 22 games last year, and he's also got some good numbers behind him coming into this season, averaging 24 possessions a game last season. And they'll be hoping that he's the one to drive them back into the finals. Bartell fighting hard. Play onto advantage. Mackie gets the chance to go long. Nathan Ablett's on the move on 50. Maybe just within range if he wants to load up. The breeze, as Rowan Smith told you earlier, is heading to that end.
And Mackie's been a real problem. He's Franklin's man. He's run off twice and set up the 2 opportunities to score. That's fantastic running.
And he's going to have a shot at it from right on the paint. And the breeze pushes it and almost pushes it out of bounds on the full. In fact, it does. It's out of bounds on the full.
Well, that breeze there looked like it's a 3 or 4 goal breeze, the way the ball just pushed to the left. And interesting to note that Luke Hodge is on Cam Mooney, so Hawthorn electing to go for run other than height.
Sun in Guerra's eyes will give him the benefit of the doubt to Gillam. Marks at half back. Wearing the old number 27 John Barker had last year. Lewis takes the mark on the wing. One of 3 former Geelong Falcons in this Hawthorn lineup. Jordan Lewis. And now Crawford. To the cheers. Campbell-Brown. Cats playing one-on-one at the moment. Not a lot of free men for the Hawks to go to. Chip kick wide. And the mark taken by Boyle, another one of the old Geelong Falcon boys. And he heads wide to Franklin, but it's way too out in front and out of bounds on the full.
Well, Lance has to be aware of that boundary line there. It's about 20 metres in, and he just led at the ball and ran out of bounds. So he's just got to be aware that the line on the ground is inside another 20 metres.
Wachinski hands to it. Ablett. And now Wachinski, who likes to run and does so. Milburn, the 1-2. Ablett calls for it long. He couldn't get the kick away. Handed off to Corey. Robbie Campbell did well to knock it down. Mitchell, Campbell, Brown. And now the Hawks on the rebound. Crawford's leading for it. Hand off is okay to Sewell, who's in sensational form this season. And the chip kick wide from Boyle to Osborne. Gary Ablett's man puts it inside 50 to Williams. Got a bump.
Gee, that was great play from Scarlett. Just bumped him at the right time there, Dwayne.
Didn't manhandle him enough to give the free away, and Bartell heads wide to Ling, and we'll get a ball in on the wing.
It's going to be a classical confrontation, Ling versus Mitchell. You can see this head-to-head all day.
Robert Campbell having a spill on the bench. Started as Bateman and Taylor. Taylor's now on, taking that ruck knock down to Corey, caught by Mitchell. Blake. Ling. Wide ball. Now there's a free kick downfield, although it's going against Shannon Burns. And it'll be Campbell-Brown's ball.
Brent Guerra's the release play, Dwayne. This is going to be 6th possession already.
To Lance Franklin, who's all the way down to half back, about to kick it to where he'd like to be. Hodge calls for it wide. Ablett's with him. Kick will need to be precise. It's not. Boundary line. Might be a win here for Hodge. He can't keep it alive. And we'll get a ball in.
Dwayne, the wind certainly is massively down the ground to the left of screen, but it's also quite strong in towards the box where we're calling it. So it's going to be difficult for players to judge ball.
There is that breeze. Now, chip kick wide to Kelly. Guerra's with him. Kelly will try to sneak away, and he does, with ease in the end. Got tackled just on the kick towards Ablett. Hodge, caught by Ablett. Dispossessed Kelly. Franklin the tackler. Burns. Now Mackie. Pokes it inside 50 to Tom Hawkins. Just out of his reach. A ball in.
Well, it's good coaching from Alistair Clarkson. He's got rough head up the other end. He's got that option to put him down back, but Luke Hodge is going to play in the player up the ground. At the moment, he's on Ablett, which means Jacobs has got Mooney in the square.
Once again, just an apology to those having sound problems. Now King back in the ruck, back into the team for his first game this year. Got the palm down with the Hawks with the numbers back in defence. Crawford to Young. Osborne, tough ball, collected it nicely. Lewis, Franklin, into trouble. Sewell tries to get away, dumped by Wachinski, holding the ball.
Great tackle, Wachinski.
Chapman comes up with the crumb. King, Corey, lead comes from Hawkins. It's ignored. Mitchell, ridden a bit by Stephen King. Ling, Sewell into the back. And the umpire did see that as a free. So Paul Chapman.
I didn't know this was going to be the matchup. You know, Chapman's an interesting one, isn't it? Takes Sewell back.
Crawford overcommitted. Ling collects it from 40 and drives it home.
Well, it was great running there from Ling. Just pushed forward, and he was always going to outmark Crawford, and that was the play that Geelong spotted the target and thought, there's the option to go to. He had a lot of tools, but Ling just pushed into an area where he was really dangerous. That was great play there from the Cats.
Particularly because Mitchell had committed himself to the previous contest. Ling was smart enough to trust his mates to put the pressure on, which they did. A free kick was given and Ling had got 30 metres off, was used. A very difficult kick, that one, I reckon, to score the goal. Excellent kick in the circumstances.
So the opening goal of the afternoon to Cameron Ling. Even the AFL guide's been a little unkind to him, as some Cat fans have been. The AFL's own guide explaining his ability as just a one-paced midfielder, but he showed some toe then. From the ball up, Taylor against King. Mitchell gets it out, as he so often does, to Crawford. And now Boyle gets there, takes it on the chest. He's got the leads to the pocket. Franklin, he's lurking, goes back inboard to Crawford with the 4-day growth. Long ball. Williams can't get a run at it, forced to spoil. Franklin, almost to his own advantage. Well played by Milburn, got the free. Scarlett. Enright. Terrible kick. Chance Bateman almost picks it off. Left it behind. Ling. Tackled by Taylor. And the umpire will ball it up.
Well, great forward pressure there. Alistair Clarkson would like this. Ball up here, dangerous. Geelong players just need to be totally accountable here. Great tackle there from Taylor, the ruckman.
Umpires this afternoon, Simon Meredith, Stuart Wen and Sean Ryan. And the ball up, King and Taylor. Kelly on hands and knees. Egan. Still on hands and knees, Taylor. Got it out. Enright. Kick to the midfield. Burns flies. Had his arm thumped. Birchall the crumb. Crawford. Lead comes from Williams. Put that in front of him. He had to prop, and Scarlett, nice one-hander.
We've got to put the ball out in front of Williams, because you put the ball in the air, Scarlett's always going to be too strong.
Milburn to Egan to Enright, held up on defensive 50.
Parker, it's interesting to note that Hawthorn half-forwards are now pushing down the ground because of the wind.
Well, and I thought they might do that earlier. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but I think this might become a little ugly.
Mooney. Knocked away from him by Campbell Brown. Birchall and Mooney combined. And he runs clear with it. Just chips the kick to half forward. Boyle beaten for it by Egan.
Well, Boyle's got to play in front. He's got to understand they're kicking into a 5-goal breeze here, so you must be in front of your direct opponent.
Makes it tough for Kelly. Stolen by Taylor. Hands off to Young. He can load up from 50. Goes long and goes all the way with a behind. Just swinging at the last second. And Clinton Young, the first score for the Hawks.
It's just interesting watching the marshalling of Hodge. Hodge really doesn't want a man down. He wants to be the marshal. He's grabbing every one of the other 4 defenders and pushing them towards different opponents. Some undermatched there. Brown versus Nathan Ablett. That's a huge deficit.
Cats putting themselves under pressure. Hunt, Milburn, Scarlett. And that was legged. Crawford had him, then lost him and dragged him down illegally.
This is where Williams has got to be right on his tag. He can run a lot quicker than Scarlett. Has to chase him out and chase him down.
Wachinski wanted to play on, couldn't. Stokes to Milburn. It sits nicely for him. He can run to the 50 if he wants to. Pokes the pass and finds Gary Ablett.
Well, magnificent kick. Brad Searle, he assumed the Geelong ball carrier was going to kick the ball long, and he had the awareness just to lower his vision and spot a free target, and that's great play, because all the Hawthorn defenders, we see Milburn here on the screen, could have blazed away, and you see the Hawthorn defenders expecting the high ball. That is great play, just lowering your eyes and hitting Gary Ablett.
Yes, champion father played for both these clubs, the Hawks and the Cats. And from 40, likes it off the boot, loves it off the boot. The Cats have the first 2.
And better still, it was Wajinski was the carrier. For the first time, I saw him put it back 2 or 3 gears, steady up and drill it and hit the target. It's something that he's not been known for. If he can finish like he carries and wins, this will be a fantastic asset for Geelong.
And Milburn's the loose player, Parker. He's already had the 7 possessions. So Alistair Clark's and the coaching panel, they've put a loose player behind the ball because of the fact that there's a strong win, but you've got a man up Milburn who's had 7.
Yeah, it'll end up being a match-up between Hodge and Milburn at either end of the ground.
Taylor against King, knocked down to Corey, good tackle. Crawford, Birchall, Lewis about to get caught, dumped, dispossessed. Bartell's got him. And the 2 Geelong Falcon boys tie each other up. There's a bit of history between a few of these guys. Luke Hodge, another one from down Geelong way.
Well, there's no love lost in that one, that tackle there, Dwayne.
From the ball up. Sewell, Crawford, into the tackle, dispossessed. And Birchall. And holding the ball. Umpire sweated off on that one.
If they get it in, they've got Ablett, Mooney versus Brown at the moment.
Ablett, Mooney, they both fly, collide. Jacobs the crumb, caught high by the collar. Umpire said it was okay. Hodge gave it to Gillum, put him under pressure, back to Hodge. He sends it wide. Jacobs waits under it, takes the mark.
Well, that was a let-off there for the Hawks because Mooney and Ablett had to keep their space. They both flew for the one ball. If one had went up, they would have marked the ball and had a shot on goal from 30. So they need to keep their isolation there.
Young to Sewell. From the wing, short, Bateman had to collect that. There were 3 Cats waiting down. Goes with a spearing pass to Franklin.
Well, I don't think he'll get the trip unless he really gets onto this one, Dwayne, because he's kicking into about a 4-goal breeze here, so this will test him.
If you labelled it as 4, that breeze. Okay.
This is going to be a great contest between Mackie and Franklin.
From the 50. Gives it some sky. Chance for the Leapers. Scarlett. Caught by Williams, got the handball up just in time. Egan, Enright. Cats with the numbers. Prismal. Stokes. Nice mark at half-back. Matthew Stokes started on the bench. First game for the season for Matthew Stokes as he helps the Cats come to half-forward. Birchall has been doing well in defence. Jacobs had his handball picked off. Kelly left it behind. Hawkins. Mooney, Sewell read it well. Chapman puts him into the turf. And the umpire, another holding the ball, sweating off on that one as well.
It's already becoming, Dwayne, a contest between an overloaded defence at both ends of the ground, which make it very hard for forwards to get space and time.
So Sewell again. Gillum. Dangerous ball, but it's okay. Xavier Ellis, who also started on the bench for the Hawks. And Bateman's got a couple to beat and does so on the wing.
Yeah, that was a great mark. 2 on 1.
Lewis peels off for him, and a well-measured kick. Held up, lead comes, it's poked out in front of Williams, he won't get there. Hodge with the fist. Milburn. Possession number 8, Kelly. Wide ball, Mackie. Jacobs about to hunt down Ablett. Nathan Ablett takes the mark just in time. Poked up high towards half forward. Campbell-Brown gets there, goes for the fist option. And it's just rolled out of play.
Just to back your statement up, Parker, the game of defences, Brown's had 5 possessions, Jacobs 3, Guerra 6, Birchall 7 and Gillum 4. So both sides' defences are getting a lot of the ball.
Blake does well. Out of the ruck to Ablett. Stokes pokes it to the top of the square. High ball. Ellis gets back in defence, dumps it toward the boundary line. And good play by Xavier Ellis in just his 4th game of AFL football.
Former teammate of the big Hawkins and a wonderful player at Melbourne Grammar, showing some great courage then.
Ball back into play. Thump to the danger zone. Birchall keeps it alive to Campbell-Brown, to Robert Campbell. Campbell-Brown just gets the kick away in time. Osborne caught. Milburn doesn't want to have a shot. No option now from the pocket. Kicks it across the face. So the Cats, with this breeze that Danny Frawley has labelled worth about 4, have owned the football and they've had the majority of the scoring shots. 2-3 to the one behind.
What do you think it is, Dwayne?
No, I'm
Come on, don't sit on the fence.
Guided by you. I think it's worth 3 1/4. Hodge towards Lewis. And now Young. Chased down by Prismal. It's the kick away. It's a little wobbler and it's worked well. It's found Dixon about 40 from goal and he will make the distance.
Your capacity to find a bloke like that in space, and it was a beautiful kick, helped by the breeze to bring it round. Their entries, I think, are probably half Geelong's at the moment. If they're not going to get a result for this work, it starts to count against you, Geelong. They must score from the number. You've said they dominated last week. I think it was 61 entries. Well, they've got to get a good result, better than they're getting at the moment.
His 13th year at the club. Ben Dixon. Been a grand campaigner for them and he's missed.
Well, off the bird, it looked like it was going straight through, and then the wind, when the ball was decelerating, that just took it to the right.
Egan got it from Enright. He's got a short on if he wants it. Prismal under pressure, picked off by Lewis, runs into 30 and misses.
Well, that's a let-off. You just got to nail those. Jordan Lewis, 7 possessions, but you've got to be better than that.
Oh, Regan gave them. That's the bit. You wouldn't get a better forward delivery if you had your teammate kicking it to you. You found him beautifully cutting into the corridor on his left foot, and he's missed.
Scarlett to the pocket to Milburn. Takes on Franklin.
Dangerous kick.
Yep. Ling under pressure. Mitchell's with him. Slips a handball out. Prismal caught by Dixon. Rough head to Franklin. Might kick it from there. Under pressure across the face. And it stayed in play for a little while, but we'll get a ball in.
We've got to be better at that in the defence. Like, you saw the first kick from Egan, and then he's tried to thread the needle again, Pargo.
It's a disease. I can't believe it. 2 in a row have given the ball back like that.
Back into play. Blake allowed a hit at it. A free hit too. Scarlett, Enright, Chapman. Prismal. Enright. Mackie peels off wide, gets away from Bateman.
Good manning the mark there from Bateman because Johnson was on. That's terrific play.
Hunt, he can load up and go long. Decides short's the best option. Stokes. Tom Hawkins can't get there in time to attempt a mark. Guerra. Away from Burns. And now Hodge to reload them from half back. Virtually playing as the quarterback for Hawthorn this afternoon. Heads 2 wide. And Lewis sees it roll out of play.
And Dwayne, he should do that. I mean, Hodge is a really good, long, accurate kick of the ball. To miss a bloke in a paddock like that at this stage when they had forward space to use, disaster.
Blake knocks it down. Milburn, Enright, David Johnson, and now Wojcinski. All the way to full forward, all the way to the goal square, all the way for a goal.
Well, it's just a magnificent run and carry. You called it, Parko. Wojcinski, as he's coming off the ground, as we often see in today's football. But the wind really helped it. Great stoppage there from Geelong. Just good hands. Got the ball in the middle of the ground. That was the key to the play. And you see Wojcinski on his own here. He's kicked that 75 metres.
It's a delightful kick, but again, he's showing a steadiness before delivery that hasn't been a part of his makeup prior to this year, and that will give them a huge advantage.
So the reward for that goal for David Wojcinski is a rest. The Cats have the first three, but they have a breeze. In the opening term, Ling, caught by Mitchell, gets the handball away. Guerra, he's over it. Not anymore. And he gets holding the ball.
Well, the umpires have been consistent. That's 2 already for holding the ball, dragging it in.
He dragged it in, but he coughed it up after he dragged it in. Other people had access to the ball. That was a bit rough, that one.
Joel Corey. Chapman runs into Sewell, shrugs the tackle. Handball up just in time. Franklin caught. McGlynn, the late inclusion. Ladson out of the side for Hawthorn. Bartell, Hunt, Prismal, Ling. Gets the kick around the body towards Ablett. Big fly, nice mark by Hodge.
Well, eyes only for the ball there from Luke Hodge. That's the strength of him. Reads the play beautifully.
Dixon the target with the kick out. Collects it. Crawford. And now Gillum. Hawks can reload towards Bateman. Collects it, runs away from Milburn. It's all about the pass. Williams is on the move. It's too wide for him or Roughhead. And we'll get a ball in.
Well, that showed Hodge's capacity then. It was a lovely long kick over the head and into the space for Bateman to run onto. That's how he must use the ball. If he's going to play that role, he's got to get a great finish for his possession.
So a late chance here for a Hawthorn score. McGlynn plays for the free and might go for holding the ball. No.
Well, I said they were consistent, Dwayne, but I'll have to take it back after that one because it was either holding the ball and he's... yeah, that is holding ball every day of the week.
Well, if you're not going to play too high, it is holding the ball.
Yep.
Prismal shoots it off to Mackey. Stokes. 17 seconds and counting. The lead comes from Mooney inside 50. It's in his direction. Good punch by Gillum. Burns to his own advantage. Jacobs. Burns stole it back. Late chance for score. And he misses and does the somersault.
Well, should have handballed to Tom Hawkins in the middle of the ground there, Dwayne, because Hawkins was on his own. Should have been better than that.
So the Cats with about a 3-goal breeze in the opening term with an 18-point lead, 3-3-21. The Hawks 3 behind. Quarter time at Launceston. Second term about to get underway. Apologies for the sound problems we've been having, but at least the sirens are working down here. Second term underway. Crawford with the clearance. Long kick inside 50. Off hands, Williams to Franklin. Chips the ball to the goal square. Getting back is Milburn, who had 10 possessions in the opening term. Boyle crunched on the boundary. And Boyle gets the free. It's been massive power outages here at Launceston at Aurora Stadium in the last couple of hours. And there's been a few things that haven't been working, but the Cats certainly have. 3-3 in the opening term. The Hawks yet to register a goal this afternoon.
The ground manager a little bit toey, Dwayne.
Well,
the events of last year.
At least the sirens are working, but we've obviously only got one power point down here and the sirens are plugged into that. Only a behind.
Dan, it seems to me, now having a longer look at what's happening, that maybe structurally both sides are going to think about what they're going to do when they go in with a win.
Yeah, well, Mark Thompson took Nathan Ablett off the last 10 minutes. Even though it's a strong win, it's very hard for the taller players to judge. So it'll be just interesting to see how many tall players stay in the forward line, because you need legs and a lot of movement.
Milburn to Scarlett to Johnson. Wide ball and a good mark to Enright. Robert Campbell made him earn it.
And again, we've got Luke Hodge free for Hawthorn and Milburn for Geelong.
And that is like a match-up. You've got to judge it as a coach on the end product of both. One's had 10, I think, and the other one's had 9. Milburn's had some very good finish. You think Hodge is a great user of the ball too. Should be fascinating to see what they do with that.
Hunt to Mackie. David Johnson. Enright have worked it to the wing. Half forward Chapman couldn't trap it. Hodge does. Crawford. Sewell. Mitchell. Hodge. Birchall. Sewell. And he can load up from there. Goes with the pass. Perfect option. And Boyle will run into the open goal and kick the opener for the Hawks.
Exciting play there,
Dan, oh, look at your heart's in your mouth as the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I think it might have been 8 or 9 hand passes, each going to a bloke basically running in a better position, and the finish, the usage good. Terrific.
You're right, the hands are always going forward. There wasn't one out the back and just over-possessing, and the key to those handballs, they were through the corridor. And of course, Paul picked up on it, and you just see the run through the middle here. It's just absolutely sensational. See Sewell and Mitchell to Hodge, just great vision there. And of course, we get Sewell with the ball to Boyle, who finished off with a great shot on goal.
I think they'd be pleased to see that, the encouragement of the ball, the ball receiver. Let's run, let's support, let's receive, let's give.
From the ball up. Campbell down to Hodge. Copybook palm down. Birchall, local boy, doing well this afternoon back in Tassie. Kicks to half forward. Roughhead put his body on the line. Now he's over it. And we'll get a ball up.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I don't think we can have Roughhead and Boyle. I think you want to go for a more mobile front half.
Little bump out, Franklin. Ablett almost gave it to Ablett so he could tackle him over the boundary line. Let's go down to Rowan Smith.
Well, thanks, Dwayne. I haven't got laryngitis down here. I am actually here, but just watching the ball, it's a 2 to 3 goal breeze to the left-hand side of the screen. Each team really has to watch the delivery into the forward line, so that's where they're going to get their advantage.
Rowan Smith, who didn't trip over the power line. Campbell steals it, kicks across the face. Scarlett slaps it to the boundary line. It's reasonably deliberate, but not today.
Dwayne, you don't see anything more deliberate than that.
Well, it depends on which DVD you got. If you get the round 1-1, it's a free, and if you get the round 3-1, obviously it's not. From the ball in, Williams got a shot away, and it's only a behind.
I just wish he'd work harder. I know I'm on his back all the time. He's a fantastic player. If he'd used that speed after the opponent, he would be. He'd cause turnovers like those little jets that Essendon are doing at the moment.
Darren Milburn. And now Scarlett.
Very good zone here from Hawthorn.
Scarlett's kick, dangerous. Corey collected it just before it hit the turf. Birchall on the mark. Lewis. So the turnover.
Well, Geelong have to play in front here because the ball's dropping short, so there's no use calling for the ball over the top because it just isn't going to carry.
Guerra. Now Young. Puts it to the hot spot.
Good kid.
And Roughhead gets there. Read that perfectly.
Well, that was just a great kick to a dangerous spot, David. Just wheeled and went to the corridor, put it 30 out, and a great lead there from Roughhead.
And that'll be the second shot for the 2 tools that I said we should immediately get rid of one, Dan. So I'm glad I'm not coaching today.
Roughhead kicks from 45 and he misses.
Get him off.
I think it was his run up there. He just stabbed at the ball. He didn't seem to get any momentum. I just thought the wind was going to do it for him. He just had to go through his technique and kick through the ball.
Possession number 11 for Darren Milburn. He's getting a lot of it. Johnson. Now King. Wojcinski. Doesn't get a chance to run. Mackie. is held up. Now the long ball. Nathan Ablett under it. Can't get a touch on it. Stokes to Crum. He's got Ablett in the pocket. In his direction. The boundary umpire will win that battle. Will get a ball in.
Well, Mark Thompson has elected to only have Mooney and Nathan Ablett as the tall forwards in the forward line. He's got Tom Hawkins on the bench.
Well, that's all they need, Dan. In these circumstances, both into the breeze and I think with it, only need 2.
Only the 1 possession so far for Tom Hawkins for the afternoon. Guerra. Campbell Brown tried to dish it off to him but put him under pressure. Almost dumped. Osborne was dumped but he got the handball away. Lewis. Birchall. All the way back to Crawford.
This will be possession number 13 for Shane Crawford.
Lance Franklin.
He's had a lot of possessions, Lance, but he's had to roam into the defensive half. So Mackey's doing a very good job there at the moment.
And that's a terrible kick.
He's given it back again. Oh, he's got 3 of his last possessions in the back half of the ground and given 2 of them back.
And Jimmy Bartell gives it to his man Mackey and he can have a shot.
Well, he's paid the ultimate price here, Lance Franklin. If you turn over and you give it to the opposition, he's fallen on his own sword here because his direct opponent, Mackey's got a shot on goal.
He has his brains left his body at the moment.
Andrew Mackey. Tough kick against the breeze. Kicks from 51. Pretty good off the boot. Gets a wobble up and misses.
I reckon it did 10 to the right as it did the last 10 towards the goal.
Hawks had almost conceded that. Drifted through for a behind. Guerra to Hodge.
I think the goal umpire nearly did too, Dwayne, because he never moved till the last minute, the goal umpire.
Jacobs. And now Jordan Lewis.
He's got Young on.
He puts it out in front of Young and Osborne, both there. Ablett,
Great play.
he just went and got the ball. Young and Osborne looked at each other. Kelly missed his hand. Osborne ridden a bit by Kelly. And the umpire didn't see that as too high. It's a ball up.
Oh, it's a great call, Dwayne, because that was an out. Only Ablett type people can get the ball in those circumstances.
Top 5 disposal winners for the afternoon so far. Birchall. Caught by Kelly. He drags it into him, hoping for a holding the ball free. They've already paid one of those today.
I reckon that's. There've been 3 or 4 in this last, 30 seconds of play. That's in the back. The bloke's, if you don't wrap him up properly, if you go down onto him like that, it's got to get the thing going by giving a free kick.
Robert Campbell and King. Corey, third man up. Ablett. Good tackle. Brought down. He's hurt himself. And it's holding the ball. A double whammy. Gary Ablett's hurt.
And Osborne as well.
Osborne too.
Rowan Smith on the boundary.
Just a match-up with Hawthorn, their best tagger. They've gone with Brad Sewell on Paul Chapman, so obviously thinking that he's a very dangerous player, and Paul Chapman's just sitting himself just back behind the fence.
And you're down in front of Ablett and also Osborne. We'll come back to you shortly to see how they pull up. Hodge to Franklin. Sidesteps and sends it long to the pocket. Williams gets there and marks. And he might be wide, but this is within his repertoire. He's got a breeze to blow it inboard.
Yep.
Well, he'll have to start this ball, David, on the top of the goal square to kick a goal with this prevailing wind on his right shoulder as he kicks.
To get the distance into this wind, it's hard to describe it as a viewer, but he's got to get a 60-metre kick to have the force to hold it before the wind brings it back from right to left.
He's a very accurate kick of the ball. He's got 10 goals this season. Starts it in front of the goal mouth and brings it back beautifully. And a wink.
I don't think we realise, Dan, how good a kick that was actually in these circumstances. And he is one of the half-dozen players in the competition who could execute that consistently.
Well, the degree of difficulty there for the viewers at home, Parko, was about 9.9, and he just threaded the goal. That was just an unbelievable kick. Just put the ball out to wind and just let the wind do the rest. That's a great kick because Scarlett's been right on top. He desperately needed that for his own confidence.
Now, I think Geelong have...
Let's go down to the boundary line. For this tackle, Ablett was hurt. Rowan Smith.
Yeah, it just looks like he's twisted his right knee. So the doctors are just looking at it now. It just happened right in front of us when he just got tackled.
King and Taylor to do the ruck work. King edged him out. Got the kick away towards full forward. Thumped through by Gillum. And it's a behind. The same hands in the back rule don't apply for ruck contests as apply for marking contests.
Which to me is not right, Dwayne.
It's one of the lovely intricacies of our game.
Yeah, the grey area of our football.
Brown. It's away from Tom Hawkins, who's back on after a spell on the bench. Bateman dives, overcommits. Milburn, the boundary line, the sanctuary for him. And again, not deliberate. He'll get a ball in.
The Hawks have got to get the run and the handball going again. I think it's been a bit stop-start, waiting for an option, a leading option, without getting the overlap going. They've got to get that from the back half now.
Young, chased down by Wachinski, brought down by Wachinski, and given a free by Wachinski.
Well, Sam Mitchell normally creates that, Parko, and Cameron Ling's doing a great job on Sam Mitchell. Only the 4 possessions, Ling 7, so that matchup's working for Geelong.
Luke Hodge.
Silly boy.
Free kick behind play for a bad Shepherd.
And believe it was against Brown. Can you believe that he actually gave a free kick high?
And Campbell Brown gives the ball away. Corey takes them on. Stokes, 50 from goal, wants the pass option. Shannon Burns was on for a while and takes the mark.
You're right, David, because Hawthorn have had all the momentum. We've played 10 minutes in this second quarter. They're starting to get some scoreboard pressure on. They're going to go inside their forward 50. And yet here we have Shannon Byrne having a shot on goal. Alistair Clarkson, I'm tipping, will be pretty frustrated at the moment.
And they're valuable against the breeze. Shannon Burns from the pocket, and he's across the face.
Nearly impossible to score a goal from that pocket there today.
The far side coming over.
Rowan Smith's down there near Gary Ablett.
Yeah, he's just walking past me right now. It's his right calf, so it looks like he's got a bit of a knock to it. Looks a little bit uncomfortable. He's just shaking his head, so it'll be interesting to see if he comes back on.
Nick Ames, the Geelong physio with him. Crawford, long ball, hoping for Ellis. Had a piece of it, not enough of it. Wachinski runs away from the youngster, runs to 50, takes on Birchall, and kicks a behind. The Cats have at least owned the ball for the last couple of minutes. David Wachinski. Much needed speed into their midfield. Chance Bateman. That's it. Hodge. Young. Not held up because that would have been 50. That's a long ball. That's 70 metres to the goal square. Dixon can't get the second grab. Williams in for goal number 2.
That's the beauty of Williams and Scarlett. It was just fantastic front and square over the back of the pack. The Geelong players probably should have brought the ball forward, but Williams, and that's where he'll get Scarlett. In the air, in a marking situation. We see here Young just kick the ball along to a pack situation, and we see Matty Scarlett just lost contact there with Williams, and that's the strength and the difficulty of matching up a player of Mark Williams' ability.
And Dan, just a little bit of overlap there. We had 2 overlaps and the immediate play on by Young.
Kicked 60 goals, 26 last year, Mark Williams, and 63-35 the year before that. A very accurate kick, and they'll be hoping for another 60-plus season from him this year. He's got 2 this afternoon, and they're within a point. Good tackle laid by Bartell. Hodge, another clearance. Bounces it to Williams. Can't get there in time. Dumped away by David Johnson. And we'll get a ball in.
I like this structure now with Boyle, Dixon and Williams. I think that's a great structure currently with the wind blowing the way it is.
Blake, Boyle in the ruck. Egan, Corey. Out of trouble to Enright. Ling, tough one, didn't even get anywhere near him. Taylor. Boyle, and the lead comes from Dixon. Can't get the mark attempt. Good spoil. Forced to go back in and attempt a back tackle.
He's going to call
in the taxi, and he gets the free. Well, Crawford and Dixon might argue as to whose ball this is. Dixon telling the umpire it's his.
Corey Enright stood up and said, well, it's mine.
He's got to be the unluckiest mate in Australia. I reckon 5 Hawthorn blokes jumped on his back.
Tough ball. Williams, can he gather his own crumb? Rushed through for a behind by Bartel. Rowan Smith.
Well, Gary Ablett's just come back onto the ground, just hovering on the wing here. Just look a little bit proppy, so it'd just be interesting to see how he goes.
The scores are level. The Cats led by 18 points at quarter time. Hawks with the breeze in this second term. Unkind bounce for Prismal. Sold the dummy to Young. Milburn. Just behind Corey. Keeps it alive and gets the free. Little push in the back. He didn't even know it was his. And Joel Corey will take it.
He can't go long because Luke Hodge is free. He's playing the midfield, just pushing back, so Geelong have to spot targets up here.
Hunt. Into the teeth of this breeze. The lead comes. It's from Hawkins. Can't get there to attempt the mark. Jacobs held it long enough. And now to the open side. Gillum. He's got Guerra and Franklin running for him. Franklin with the one-handed bounce. Now he gives it to Guerra. Chip kick towards McGlynn. Bartel down there. And the ball out of play. Jimmy Bartel, 8th pick in that super draft back in 2001. We talk about Hodge, Ball and Judd, but it's been a great pickup at pick 8 behind Polak, Xavier Clark, Sampi and David Hale. And we'll get a ball up.
And Blake's got better and better, hasn't he? At his palming, the pushing of the ball in the right spot when he gets hands on is excellent. Now it's still hard to get away, but he's got good look at it.
Blake again. Held, gets the free.
No, he's much improved, and it's a great bonus for Mark Thompson because he doesn't have to throw Stephen King in there all the time, Parko. He's come back from a calf, so it'll be great if Blake can keep his form going.
Always handballs to the man standing with him. He doesn't ever kick it. No, Blake. So they should have manned up on Bartel, and Mackey's got it. Andrew Mackey. Held up. Bartel. Dixon tried to corral him. Long. Burns forced to fly. Punch away. Xavier Ellis. But Burns pounces. Left foot kick long. Gary Ablett's back on. Missed it. Almost bounced off his chest. Gillum. Ablett still fighting. Gillum gets it back. And they'll get out of trouble. Osborne, Jacobs, Birchall. Lewis. Scores level. And still another 6 minutes with the breeze for the Hawks in this second term. McGlynn replaced Rick Ladson in the selected team.
Well, McGlynn's got no option but to just go sideways here because he looks up and people are manned up and Geelong are getting back behind the ball.
Xavier Ellis, just game number 4. Wachinski. Blake, he'll handball. Loops it back again to Hunt. Little 1-2 with Enright. And now Egan. Spears the pass to Ling. He's got Prismal over the top. Milburn. And now Prismal. Handball not so good. Back to Milburn to Ling. Just trying to work it up to the 50. Long to the goal square. Ablett's down there. Hasn't got this one. Gets the free.
Yeah, it was definitely there. Just over the top there. Michael Osborne just talking to the umpire and saying it was a little bit stiff, but unfortunately just went a little bit too high there.
Plays on, runs in, kicks a wobbler, and it's through. Cats are back in front.
Well, it's a great move from Mark Thompson, Parko. We talk about a mobile setup in the forward line, and Ablett went off for 10 minutes, and we just see him here. Yeah, Osborne, his left arm over the left shoulder of Ablett, and that's a great move from Mark Thompson because he's got a mobile player such as Ablett. The ball's probably going to go in there, not lace out, it's going to hit the ground, so that's a very good move from Mark Thompson.
And it might have happened out of pure necessity that Ablett came on looking fairly ordinary and as a result was put into the front line to allow him to recover, and in doing so he's caused a problem.
Two goals now for Gary Ablett Jr. 31 plays, 25. Cats against the breeze, back in front. Blake doing well in the ruck against Campbell. And yet another sent to square infringement goes the Cats' way. Corey Cam Mooney on the move, can't get there for the half volley, thumps it away. Hunt, hunted by Jacobs. And they've paid that holding the ball already today, and they don't this time. Yes, they do.
Well, that's a worrying sign there for Geelong. Hunt had to fight off 3 Hawthorn players there, Parko, and 3 Geelong players just spectated.
Franklin. Played 22 minutes second term. And Lance Franklin's held up. Not a lot to go to, goes long and high. Robert Campbell with a third grab. Plays on, not paid the mark. Towards Boyle, Milburn.
He's a good player, Darren Milburn. 15 possessions so far for Darren.
Egan to Chapman. Bounces from halfback. Hunt. Scott Mackey, if he wants him, he does it. He wants Kelly. Short pass. Kelly held up.
Well, so crucial. Geelong just not getting back off the mark quick enough. You need to get back and pull the trigger quicker. Kelly just assessed and didn't get back off the mark. He had opportunities to go inside there, but didn't get back quick enough.
Mackey was free all that time, and he goes to Ablett Jr. and he's got his touch back.
Well, a worrying matchup here at the moment, Pargo. Alistair Clarkson would be suggesting to his defensive coach, do we leave Osborne on, or do we have a crack with Campbell Brown, who's probably a little bit stronger overhead?
Osborne, I would have thought initially Osborne was the right matchup, but he's been well beaten in both those, so I think it's time to have a think about it. I think probably Brown is the right one.
And Breeze will push this away from goal. And starts to push now. Only a behind.
Yeah, there hasn't been much overlap running, has there? It's been pretty stop and start.
Gillum gets it from Hodge, thought about giving it back. Bateman drops it, then misses Birchall with a handball, and Birchall doesn't get the free for in the back. Crawford, Bateman a fumble again. Presmell, Bateman gets the free. Stewart went on the spot. Now Hodge. Leeds come to the pocket. Birchall.
He's a smarter player than I ever was, Hodge. But Hodge needed to go on then. I mean, all the spaces have been filled. He needed to take a bit of a risk.
Birchall to the hot spot. Centering ball, Roughhead's got 3 to beat. Thumps it down. McLean, Guerra, left foot snap. Pretty good off the boot. Very good off the boot. He's got his first.
Well, great front and square there from McGlynn, but equally great vision to give the ball to Guerra. We see the long kick here to the contest. Stephen King probably could have done better and marked that, but great spot McGlynn and great awareness, and Guerra on the left foot. Well, that's just his bread and butter, isn't it? He's been a very good player, the half-back line, and again started from Luke Hodge. They need to look at maybe tagging Luke Hodge after half-time.
First goal for Brent Guerra. And the Hawks back within a point. But as far as 18 points down, they're hitting back late in this term. Not a lot left. 2 minutes to half-time. Chip kick is pretty good. Guerra. And now Williams gets there, drops the mark, did the hard work. Chapman caught by Williams. Kelly funnels it out to Bartel. He's dumped. The crowd want ball. They won't get it this time. We'll get a ball up.
Well, the Hawthorn tackling today, Parko. Geelong have had a bit of a free rein the last couple of weeks. Their tackling's been first class today.
King, Roughhead, Kelly, Bartel toward the wing. Taylor, bouncing ball, forced to do the running and chasing. Taylor gets there, now does the tackling. And it's too high on Shannon Burns, and he didn't have it.
I don't think Simon Taylor could get down that low, Dwayne, to actually tackle him around the hips.
Shannon Burns, one of the smallest players in the AFL, let alone at Geelong. Short pass to Hunt. Josh Hunt held up. Goes long towards Ling. Pocket. Mitchell's with him. Good little battle. And the umpire will sort it out with the ball up.
Well, it is a good battle, Dwayne. Mitchell saw only had the 4 possessions, but at least he's getting back in the defence. He knows that Ling's going to go everywhere he does, so he's got to try and block a hole for the Geelong forwards, but he's got to be careful that Ling doesn't outmark him.
King and Taylor. Kelly stole it. Got caught by Lewis. Almost throws it out. Taylor. Hodge ducked into that tackle by Wachinski. Ball up.
Well, at the moment, Ling holds the advantage because Mitchell is the key playmaker, and his role so far has not obliterated him, but has made him very, very ineffective.
That's probably the positive for Hawthorn too, going into half-time. Somehow they can get Mitchell into the game. They're only a point down with no impact from their best midfielder.
And that's happened a couple of weeks in a row where he's gone out of the midfield into half-forward and become a dominant player in the second half.
Whereas ball out of bounds on the full. Cats can reload. Bartel to Milburn. Terrible kick. Tough for Mackie. But he slapped it to Egan. They get away with it. Prismal. And now Mooney. Maybe just beyond his range. 52 out. Into the teeth of the breeze. 20 seconds to half-time. Centering ball. Not a bad spot to go to. Almost but not quite. Hawkins hasn't seen a lot of it in the first half. Wachinski chased down by Jacobs. Hawks have all their players back. Hunt, a chance for a mark inside 50 only. Mackie pokes it high. Mooney can't take the mark. Ling to Hunt, and the siren beats them. But it's been a good first half to watch. Hawthorn, the Tassie Hawks, playing host down here in Launceston to the Cats for the first time. And Gary Ablett, after coming off with an injury, looks okay. He's got a couple of goals this afternoon. Few power problems here in Launceston. We apologise for some of the audio problems we've had. We'll be back with the second half straight after this. The Hawks 4-7-31. The Cats 4-8-32.
Beck's goal of the week, as seen on Fox Sports.
Still might be time for an equaliser. Defoe. Out by Toure. 4 minutes just about up. If it's going to happen for Spurs, it's got to happen right now. Chimbonda. It's in the referee's gift now to blow the whistle. Malbrook. Jonathan Genius! What a fabulous goal! 94 minutes, 9 seconds, and Spurs have got it.
Second half about to get underway. 1 point lead to the Cats, and they have about a 3-goal breeze in this third term. The Hawks will have it last. From the ball up, Blake wins it against Campbell. 2 Cats decided to shepherd. Chapman got one high, and we'll get a secondary ball up.
Interesting to see what Sam Mitchell does. As you see him give the ball back to the umpire here. We see Chapman go low there, no free kick, but Hawthorn desperately need Mitchell to get into the play.
Campbell down to Crawford. Tackled just as he took possession by Corey Enright. We'll get another ball up.
It's funny a minute ago to see Lewis run round 2 Geelong players who both tried to shepherd each other. No one went for the ball.
Campbell and Blake. Little palm down from Campbell. The Hawks will waste as much time as they can in this term. We'll get another ball up.
Well, Cameron Ling's obviously gone to school on Sam Mitchell, because you see these stoppages here. Ling just puts a finger in the back and he's just standing behind Mitchell there. Just see at the top of the screen, just a finger in the back there from Cameron Ling, and that's great coaching there.
Just keeping touch so he knows where he is. Osborne through traffic, sends it long. Williams led one way. Franklin waits under it. Punch clear by Scarlett. Johnson. And now Corey. Got the handball away. Hunt. Big hip and shoulder on Osborne. He's hurt. Young collects the crumb to Franklin. Osborne's up, and Franklin a chance to have a crack at goal. Tough kick from there. Almost the impossible pocket. It's called to play on. Young. From 60. Centering ball. Bartel and Lewis. Chapman, Blake, he'll want a handball. He does to Enright. Stokes the target. We bumped Guerra out of the contest there. Umpire said it was okay. Mooney and now Nathan Ablett.
Well, Hodge just had to get some body there on Mooney to keep him up the ground. He just turned him far too easily there. Mooney turned on his right. Hodgie normally just turns onto his left foot. And we just see the contest here. You see Mooney turn. Luke Hodge, left footer, normally turns onto his left.
Well, 2 of the 3 big men have had some influence, so Bomber Thompson's at this stage a long way in front of David Parker.
Nathan Ablett back into the team this week. Late withdrawal last week, just before the bounce with a sore back. Likes that off the boot. Woodwork are behind.
You see Osborne there, he's good, which is great news there for Hawthorn. Gee, it was a great contest there between Hunt and Osborne.
Josh Hunt has got some size about him. When you're hit by him, you stay hit for a while. Ling, boundary line the Sanctuary, will get a ball in. 2 number 3s. Former teammates in Geelong, Bartell and Lewis, head to head in the midfield. There's the bench for the Cats. Stephen King back into the team this afternoon, but on the bench as Blake does the ruck work and Birchall drops the mark. Stokes, toe poke to his own advantage. Gillam, Jacobs, Campbell, Brown, Hodge. Left foot chip kick, Young gets there, marks in front of Milburn. Not a lot to go to. He's only got Birchall who's run on short. Tough one. He did brilliantly. Made the commitment. Kicks to half forward. Osborne to his own advantage. The leads come. It's a long ball. Franklin caught behind. Rises and still marks.
Well, it was set up for him, Dwayne. You saw a pack of players, 3 on 3. Lance Franklin just waited behind, and that's his bread and butter. When that ball was kicked high, you could just sense it was well called, Dwayne. We see the long kick going here. So a big pack of players, and Lance Franklin, 6'6" of him, just extending the arms.
Normally an accurate kick and an accurate kick again. The Hawks for the first time today in front.
Well, it's just what Alistair Clarkson needed, Parko, because that's a fantastic bit of play there. When you get your tall player marking the ball, all of a sudden it gives confidence to your midfielders to get that ball in there nice and quick.
And don't forget the lead up with brilliant handling by Birchall and Osborne under pressure situations. Just clever with the hands.
Hawks in front, 5-7 to 4-9. Rowan Smith.
Is exactly the way that they started in the second half last week against North Melbourne Kangaroos. Running it out of defence, getting it long in the forward line with Franklin in there deep.
Trying to run that out, missed it. Lewis, Young, Sewell. Now Guerra, spearing pass to the man of the moment, Franklin. Had a piece of it, not enough. Milburn left it behind. Franklin's got him. Good chase down. Boyle the tackle, holds it in. Chapman's got him under him.
Well, it's great second effort there from Lance Franklin. We see him contest the ball. May have been a little bit stiff not to get a free kick, but then just bounces up and lays a tackle. That's what you need from your tall forwards.
Campbell and Blake again. Both got a piece of it. Bartell. Good commitment from both players. Campbell rakes it free. Crawford, the knock on, got dumped. And Birchall not allowed to play onto advantage. It'll be Shane Crawford's ball.
The book's coming out.
So Josh Hunt in the book.
Crawford's not happy.
Oh, yeah. So the ball with the Hawk champ. And he just pokes it up for Franklin to get a run at it. Drops short. Milburn drops it. Mackie. Johnson. Corey. The runner Wachinski into trouble. Young. Now Johnson again. Mooney. Thump clear by Hodge. Hawks have got a run on at the moment, the Hawks. Mitchell. Young. 60 from goal. Goes long to the goal square. Dixon's lurking. He leaves it. It's through.
Hodges is just about making the difference. I know we argue this all day about Milburn and Hodge and their effectiveness, but wasn't it a fantastic defensive spoil? Got it to Mitchell. Mitchell to Clinton Young, and this kid's a beautiful, smooth finisher of the ball.
Well, worrying signs there for the Cats because Mitchell, quiet first half, had 2 possessions already and they've ended up being in 2 goals. So that's fantastic for Sammy Mitchell to work through this.
First goal of the afternoon for Clinton Young. Hasn't been a lot of wearers of the number 45 at Hawthorn, but a bloke who did wear it in his first year went on to play 426 games. Michael Tuck, a Young on cue. Another possession. Long inside 50. Franklin flies. Scarlett caught. And he shrugs Williams. Mackie. Nathan Ablett the target. Over his head. Kelly the knock on. Chapman had it but lost it. Kelly's got it. Bateman ducked into that tackle and dumped by Nathan Ablett. He'll get a ball up.
Well, Chapman only the 6 possessions. Brad Sewell, he's starting to be the giant killer of the competition. Shannon Grant last week 6 possessions. The week before Travis Johnston 7. And already Chapman have no impact.
Lewis to Bateman. Scott Young. Kick will have to be perfect. Mooney. And Mooney gets a free. Just pokes it to the pocket and Stokes takes the mark.
Well, this has become pretty important because there were ominous signs that Hawthorn were getting control against still a relatively strong breeze, and this is an imperative goal. It was well set up. I think the free kick was on, and but I think we'll put this away. Matthew Stokes is a beautiful kick.
First game of the season for Matthew Stokes, game number 10 all up. Former Darwin boy through Woodville West Torrens, and as you said, David Parkin, straight through the middle.
Well, the small forwards again, Parko, just the ability to find space in these conditions. And you're spot on. The free kick was there, I think, so there's no doubting. The free kick was always there. So Mooney, just good awareness. All the Hawthorn players thought he was going to go long. Stokes just dropped into a hole there and just kicked a beautiful goal, a much needed goal because Hawthorn have got all the momentum at the moment.
Back to a 4-point ball game. Hawks will come home with the breeze in the final term. Stephen King into the ruck for the Cats. Blake having a rest. Lewis to Bateman. Through traffic and wide towards Crawford. 1-on-1 with Enright. Crawford wins. Sends it inside 50. Williams down there with him. Scarlett. Williams wins out and he might roll it all the way.
What a goal.
That's as good as it gets. He's got 3.
That was absolutely sensational, Parker. You talk about small forwards. Have a look at the body work here of Williams. As we see him just hold Scarlett out, to hold his feet, his strength through his legs for a player of his size. He is strong through those quads, David.
And he had 50% each way. He had Dixon in there. He didn't fly at it. He put it in a position where if it wasn't going straight, Dicko could run onto it and score. So excellent individual effort.
Instant reply for the Hawks. Taylor against King in his first game back, down to Bartell. Nathan Ablett back to Bartell, caught by Taylor. And he's raked it in. Umpire was blindsided, doesn't pay holding the ball.
Sure, when Alistair Clarkson looks at this tape, David, that their tackling pressure on the Geelong ball carriers have had a pretty free rein the last couple of weeks, Geelong. Their tackling has been superb.
Taylor front spot, King, Bartell takes it out of the air. Mooney comes hard but misses it. Wachinski caught to Stokes. High bomb to the goal square. Ablett's got 3 to beat. Manstein down. High kick by Tom Hawkins. Punch through for a behind. In fact, kept alive. Off the line to Hodge. Ellis. Hodge. And they get away with it, the Hawks. Bateman.
He's got his own ball at the moment, Luke Hodge. 20 possessions already.
All 22 games last year. Luke Hodge has been a great performer for them the last couple of years. Mitchell. McGlynn. Little bump out. Umpire said it was legal. Chapman. Enright. King. And now the runner Wachinski. To load up long if he wants to. Goes to Ling. Thought about back to Wachinski. Wide. Bartel. Spearing pass. Ablett. Plays on. He's got Kelly. And Kelly takes the mark.
Well, I'm glad the kid, as a coach, he'll worry like Mary. They take a little, it was a lovely pass in, and Ablett was right. And he was within range, and he's probably going to have a kick. But he did spin for a change and had a look, and there was somebody, Kelly, in a better position.
You see Tom Hawkins coming off for Shannon Byrne. I think that's a good move from Mark Thompson because the smaller forwards are having an impact now.
There's Tom Hawkins, only the 3 possessions. All eyes on Kelly. And he slots it. Back to a 4-point margin.
This is a terrific game in the sense that we've got a close, reasonably even contest across the board, but within the game we've got 6 or 7, I think, fantastic individual clashes, midfield, forward and back, all of which in the finish are probably going to determine, which one's got their head in front, whether the team will get over the line.
First goal of the season for James Kelly. 49 plays 45. Cats have 12 more minutes with the breeze. Beautiful palm down to Lewis, to Sewell. Now Osborne kick not so good. Milburn. Cats on the rebound. Stokes. Bartel. Lead comes from Mooney. Just inside 50. Takes it. Wants to play on. Thought about it. Saw it was Stephen King. And he'll go back and have a crack from the 50-metre arc.
Game just starting to open up somewhat the last 5 minutes, which is exciting.
To give the Cats back the lead. He's starting to bend it and ride it. He's missed. Rowan Smith.
Geelong are just capitalising on Hawthorn's turnovers here, and then Hawthorn aren't reacting quick enough, and Hawthorn have got their players running forward.
Lewis got it from Jacobs. Heads wide, Xavier Ellis. It's there in front of Burns.
He's a cool customer, isn't he, for 3 or 4 games in? He's a bit of a low par. He's very casual, but he's not really, but he looks that way.
Makes it tough for McGlynn. Too casual with that kick. Nathan Ablett. Kick half smothered. Well done by Birchall. To brother Gary. Inboard to Stokes. Shrugs the tackle, runs in, kicks the goal and puts the Cats in front.
Well, Gary Ablett, Mark Thompson's isolated Gary Ablett in the goal square, and Stokes has just chipped in for another shot on goals. We see, again, the small forwards, the ability to hold his feet. Gary Ablett, under real heat, is just about the best in the competition. He never fumbles, he always stays on his feet, and then just have the awareness to give that handball to Stokes is just AFL football at its finest. He is an absolute great player, Gary Ablett.
Two goals for the quarter for Matthew Stokes, and the Cats back out to a 3-point lead. And plenty of time left with the breeze. Taylor up against King. Sewell couldn't get it away, and Lewis driven into the turf. Another ball up.
There we have Gary Ablett there isolating the goal square, and that's good coaching. He's got all the other tall forwards up the ground, just isolating Campbell Brown and Gary Ablett.
Corey, third man up, thumps it wide. Crawford in the race. Milburn with him. Enright. Kelly. If he can collect it. Caught. Milburn. Handball up just in time. Short pass. It was pretty good from Hunt, but he missed the target due to the punch. And we'll get another ball up in the middle.
Yes, I think the most worried man on the ground would be Brownie, sitting back in the goal square like that. What about the blind turn? I mean, he just fainted round, he was gone, wasn't he? It's just terrific stuff.
King tangles with Taylor. Lewis. Now Dixon. High kick. Williams has got the run, so to Roughhead. Roughhead's front spot.
Well, that was a great grab. He jumped early, made it very difficult for Mackie to mark the ball and protected the area where the ball was going to drop, and that was a terrific mark there from Jared Roughhead.
Only possession number 3 coming up. Hasn't had a big afternoon.
To see him jump there nice and early, basically made it impossible for the defender to spoil.
Big kick. Breeze pushes it around and getting back Stephen King.
Is that a contested mark there for Stephen King?
I think you'd have to count that, wouldn't you? Corey. You're saying he doesn't take a lot?
No, he's just short of a gallop. He took a few here last week. It's good to see.
Yep. Wide to the diving Bartel. Ball out of play. Jimmy Bartel.
If he's able to carry the load, Dwayne, if King is able to get up and become a proficient player, that's going to help this side enormously.
Well, he's the 2-time best and fairest winner, Stephen King. And first game back for 2007. McLean got it from Lewis, ran into trouble. Gets it back again. Taylor have a kick. It's a wobbler. The Breeze is pushing it back. It's gone all the way. The big man gets a rare one. First of the season.
Oh, that's a super goal. He was looking to lay it off as a big man should, and he said, no, on the finish, I've got to look at this. He said, I'm a chance here, and he laid off and kicked it from a difficult spot.
As he watched Peter Hudson kick the great champion full forward of the 70s, because that was a real floater.
What you call a flat punt.
But in these conditions, the flat punt, because it doesn't turn, it actually holds its line.
And that's exactly what that did.
Well, he knows this ground well. Simon Taylor, he's a Tassie boy from Hutchins School down here. He knew where the goals were. From the ball up, Blake got the handball out to Hunt. Spearing pass to Ablett, takes the mark. And he might be within range.
That's what you want from your tall forwards, just attack the ball.
Brother leads, it's ignored. He loads up. Big, long drop, punt. On the line, touch through for a behind. Rowan Smith on the boundary.
Just as Simon Taylor kicked that goal in, Stephen King was running off the ground, so left him free, and it was a poor option because he could kick a goal.
He didn't kick a goal for the whole year last year, Taylor, so you're pretty happy to get on the score sheet for a change. Stokes to Ling, goal square, Ablett the contest, Guerra are behind.
Don't forget the Hunt kick right through the centre square that gave him that opportunity. It was a magnificent kick.
Guerra. It was a 1-point ball game at half-time. The Cats led and now trailed by 1. Gillum. Oh, and Young spoil each other.
Well, just lack of talk there, and just 2 young players. They'll learn from that. One of them had to put their name on it there, Parko.
Cats with an opportunity now. Blake, Kelly, Prismal, Chapman. And now Mooney just misread it. Breeze just carried it further than he thought. Milburn straight through traffic. He slots it. Cats back in front.
Well, worrying signs for the Hawks, Pargo, because Chapman, I give Brad Sewell a bit of a rap. In the last 4 or 5 minutes, Chapman's had some telling contests, and he's got his hands on the ball. And normally something happens when he gets the ball there. We see the loose ball again. Just, look, that was a great kick under pressure. Just to scoop that up and then to kick it on his left was a magnificent goal there from Darren Milburn. Again, Hodge versus Milburn, the duel.
Yeah,
22 to Milburn and 20 to Hodge.
And the significance of that, Dan, is in fact that he came forward, Milburn, then won it in Hodge's territory and rammed it home.
And a great campaigner, Darren Milburn. He'll finish this year in the top 20 Geelong game players of all time. Lewis to Guerra. Wobbler towards attacking 50. Boyle, Roughhead. Franklin loops it over the top. Could have had a shot, went back to Boyle, and Mackie rushes it behind. Blake and Campbell go at it again. Blake. He's over it. Hodge is over him, holding the ball.
Well, they've been red hot on that one today.
All day.
as they were in round 1. Hodge wide to McGlynn, which means they'll be pretty hot on it again in round 7. McGlynn to Campbell. And now Sewell getting one back on Chapman. Rough head on the move. Ball eludes him. Coming hard boiled through traffic. Handball up. Good handball from Young to Williams. Was that 15? Rough heads marked it.
Well, just 15. But that was great attack on the contest there from Boyle. He set it up with his attack on the contest. As we see Clinton Young just get up off the ground a little groggily. He's okay. Important kick this. Smart play from Williams too. Could have blazed away, but just lowered his eyes and put it on the chest of Roughhead.
To give the Hawks back the lead. 5 minutes from three-quarter time. He misses. Scarlett hip and shoulder on Young. Prismal all the way back to Enright. Wide kick. And the mark's been taken just inside the boundary line by Corey. Wojcinski has to get around Roughhead, does it with relative ease. And Corey bounces from Osborne. Milburn at half forward, one-on-one with Hodge. Campbell in there, Milburn wins, toes it straight to Jacobs. McGlynn, Guerra. They can reset from half back. Boyle was free, he was ignored. Osborne to Jacobs. 4 minutes from three-quarter time. McGlynn, no one in front of him, could have had a bounce, goes long, front spot, not taken by Franklin this time. Bartell to Enright. Mackie, Prismal, inches from the turf. 60 plays 57. Cats by 3 points. If you just joined us, the Hawks will come home with the breeze. Bartell held it long enough. Johnson.
It's important Geelong get a couple of goals because it's definitely probably a 2-goal advantage, David.
I reckon it would be.
Hands off to Bartell, the 1-2 to create the loose man. And now the kick towards the wing. It's a high ball. It was tough. Wojcinski. Boyle takes the mark. He's got McGlynn short if he wants him. He wanted him, but he missed him. Straight over his head. Breeze making it tough. Egan to Ling. Loops the handball wide. Wojcinski. Franklin runs him down. He slipped. He was too quick for himself. Ablett through traffic. Strong legs. Thinks about going all the way. Goes to Mooney. Over his head. Guerra takes the mark. Been a tough day for tall forwards. Just the 6 possessions for Cam Mooney. Birchall, Jacobs, and now Crawford. Mitchell runs on, and Crawford puts it too wide for him and puts it out of bounds on the full.
It's been disappointing the last 5 minutes. There have been 6 deliberate, without pressure kicks that have totally missed targets.
And there's that breeze that's making it tough. Egan slips it inside 50. Milburn got one too high from Hodge.
Yeah, definitely well called, Wayne. Hodgie just a little bit overzealous there. This is a fantastic matchup, this.
And he pokes it over the top. He made it tough for Stokes. He rebounds it nicely. He's got a couple, both in this term. Can't shrug the tackle. Enright got a kick away, but it's wide. And it's out of play. 2 minutes from three-quarter time.
That was magnificent play from Campbell Brown. He just corralled Stokes because if he hadn't went at the tackle, Stokes wanted him to go a little bit further.
Commit him and go around him.
Yeah, great play, Campbell Brown.
Fantastic.
Blake and Robert Campbell side by side. Campbell knocks it down. Osborne, and now Birchall sees it out. The Hawks eat up some more seconds.
Here we see Stokes get the ball, and Campbell Brown, just seen corral, hands out. That is fantastic play.
Big pack around this ball in. Campbell thumps it back. Blake down to Ablett. Runs into Mitchell. To Enright. No one home. Ellis.
Well, Hawthorn are getting a lot of numbers behind the ball. They'll be happy to go in with a 3-point deficit with a 2-goal breeze in the three-quarter time.
Guerra Held up. Hair getting longer with each club he goes to. Of course, Port Adelaide and St Kilda. And now under his old coach from Central Districts, Alistair Clarkson. Brent Guerra chips it back to Hodge. Couple of possessions for friends.
Geelong are going to be quicker to react to this. They just have to play man on man and now force Hawthorn to kick long down the line to a contest and then have an opportunity to have a shot on goal. This is not good enough from Geelong.
No.
They need to go one-on-one.
They're just playing it out as if they're in front and the final siren's looming. Osborne. And now Guerra. The Cats coach's box.
It is painful because it should only take you about 30 seconds any time to get everybody manned up.
Bartel's the free play for Geelong. He's just standing up this end of the ground doing nothing. If he goes down and mans Guerra up, they've got a contest.
Hodge raked it in. The pass from Dixon made it tough for him. Campbell-Brown. Ablett chases him down. The turnover. Now the Cats on the rebound. Ablett no one to go to. Forced to dish up the handball. Milburn still no one to kick along to. Prismal. Now he looks up. Cats getting players back now. Long to the goal square. Mooney off hands are behind. 15 seconds from three-quarter time.
Have a look at the recovery there from Ablett. Great tackle, but great recovery also from Campbell-Brown. Just great contest, those two boys.
61 plays, 57. It's a 4-point lead to the Cats.
The same
led by 1 point at half-time.
Sorry, Dwayne, but it's the same thing again. This is really agitating me now.
Settle down, Parker.
Well, it's that. Well, Dan, as a coach, it's not. It can happen once, maybe,
right.
But when it happens 3 times in the last 3 minutes, and by getting to man on man, they forced Hawthorn eventually to kick the ball to a contest. They got an opportunity to score.
Correct weight.
It just annoys me.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a big last term coming up. Very important game for both clubs. Both coming into this one, 2 wins and 1 loss. And it's a 4-point lead to the Cats with the Hawks coming home with the breeze. Geelong 8-13-61. Hawthorn 8-9-57. Cats by 4 points. Final term about to get underway. These two teams met twice last year. The Hawks won both battles by big margins, by 61 points and 52 points. But this is a tight one, and the Hawks have the breeze in the final term from the ball up. Ling, the opening clearance toward half forward. Chance Bateman spears it towards Buddy Franklin. He's got it on the wing. Roughhead the lead in front of him, collects it with one hand. Bit of style towards McGlynn. Ducks into the tackle. Umpire saw it. Play on. Egan to Wachinski, Corey, and now Mackie for the Cats.
We'll have to be dropping the ball.
Mooney, he dropped it. Gillum, dumped by Prismal. Good tackle. Ball held in. Umpire will sort it out with a bounce.
Well, McGlynn took the opponent on. You see him take him on, so it was either too high, which it probably was, or dropping the ball. He didn't dispose it by hand or foot, so...
Absolutely.
Bewildering.
Campbell and Blake. Sewell, Birchall, Campbell, Crawford. Gillum. Mooney was looming. Thought about the big hip and shoulder. Went the ball instead. Kelly. Blake. And now Wachinski can run the wing. He's got some space. Takes them on. Creates the loose man to Ling. But no one to go to up forward. Just one-on-ones. Goes wide to Ablett. Gets back. Can't attempt to mark. Ball thumped back to the boundary line. Get a ball in.
That's continuing, Dan. The Milburn-Hodge thing. Milburn's come to pick up Hodge, which is interesting.
61 plays 57. Cats have let it every change. Blake. Palm down. He was hoping for Ablett. Ball stays in. Another ball up.
I think the Mitchell-Lings continue to dominate. I think it might be about 18 now to Mitchell's 8 or 9, which is a fair sort of a whacking, and he needs to stand up, I think, now, Sam Mitchell.
From the ball up, Campbell knocked it down. Sewell. And a couple of early touches on Chapman. Bateman to Crawford.
You're right, because that matchup, Cameron Ling's a much better player than getting your 35, 40 possessions. Cameron Ling is playing on Mitchell. He's had his 18 and Mitchell's only had the 8. So far more productive player, Cameron Ling, than just going to freewheel and get his 35 around the half back line.
Agreed.
Blake and Campbell. Blake falls over. Campbell rips it out of the air. Guerra, not a lot to go to. A thump, a big long one, goes to Hodge. Slips it wide for Chance Bateman on the move. Nice half volley, good collect. Corralled. Nathan Ablett came at him, so he goes back to Nathan Ablett's man, Danny Jacobs. Now Hodge again. Good position, good battle with Milburn. Half played on.
Can I make that comment in a minute when I get a second? Because Hawthorn have gone back to the tactic they used right throughout the pre-season competition.
Rough head, gathers the crumb, shrugs the attempted bump to Crawford. Can't get a snap away. Now he can. Sold the dummy. Misses. Behind. Rowan Smith on the boundary.
The breeze has died down a little bit here, boys, coming more across the ground instead of straight down. So a little bit of a disadvantage to Hawthorn.
What they do is they play 4 forwards anchored in the 50, don't come out at all, create that space from that point on to wherever the contest happens to be. They're doing exactly the same thing.
Egan's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Well, free kick Hawthorn, shot at goal. They can take the lead.
At some stage as a defender under pressure, you've got to go long down the line. You've got to go long down the line. I know he didn't have much upfield, but to try and squirt the ball in there from there was very dangerous.
Lance Franklin tries the miracle, misses. Behind.
And just given an opportunity back again was a fairly casual approach to that. Go on, Dan.
Well, these are the types of day at fullback, David, that you don't like kicking out into a breeze like this. It's pretty difficult. And, you know, Jimmy Bartow, you're looking up and you've got Hawthorn who are zoning well. It's a tough day for the fullback who's the designated kicker who's kicking out after a point.
So the Hawks have the breeze, the Cats have the lead. Bartell, long, King the target. Bateman. Chips it to Crawford. Got a few options in the corridor. Might send it longer. He does. Franklin's on the move. Can he get there? Ling, front spot. Body on the line. Didn't hold it long enough according to the umpire.
Our umpire.
Ling gets it back again and gets the possession he deserved. Stokes. Chapman. Wide ball to Milburn. Gets one back on Hodge.
It's a game of cat and mouse. Darren Milburn and Luke Hodge. Fantastic duel.
Enright held up. Corey. And Joel Corey, no one to go to.
Hawthorn have done a really good job manning the mark here. Just manning the mark, not forcing Geelong to run and carry and use hands.
Enright. Thought about the short one, goes longer. Mooney and Chapman inside 50. Mooney! Strong hands. Hasn't had a big afternoon so far, Cameron Mooney. This is possession number 7 for him. And he's yet to kick a goal. But a very, very important kick.
Not only strong hands, strong body. You just see him plant his big legs in front. Young Stevie Gillen just lost him when the ball was in the air. That was a great mark there from Cam Mooney.
To extend the Cats' lead to 8 points. The breeze will push it away. And it's done that all afternoon. And he didn't allow enough for it, only a behind.
And Hawthorn have retracted and have got Small on now, or smaller. Dixon's come on for Roughhead. That's the change they made fairly early going with the breeze last time.
Lewis got it from Guerra. Chips it to Hodge. Bateman. Sewell peels off for him. Sewell's still there. In fact, he took his man away, Brad Sewell. That was a good move because Birchall ran into the space. Shortish pass, nice pass to Campbell, and that releases Osmond. He can go all the way, runs to 50, centres it to the goal square instead. That scoots through for a behind.
Did he change his mind, Dan?
He was a little bit too unselfish. Look, if you're going to make a mistake trying to make your teammate better. He tried to do the team thing.
That's true.
Could have given the Hawks the lead. Prismal, Cats on the rebound, Ling. Prismal, long ball, Gary Ablett. It sits for him, he flies, can't mark it, crumbs it. Shoots it out to Chapman, he gets away from Hodge, centering ball, diving mark to Kelly.
Take a bow, Gary Ablett. You are an absolute beauty of ground level. His ability to win the ball at ground level. I think he's just about the best in the comp. You put Kerr in that same bracket and Judd, you throw Gary Ablett as well. Just have a look at the recovery here. He just lands on his feet. He does not lose his footing in the contest. It's remarkable.
Already kicked a goal this afternoon, James Kelly, and to extend the margin to 8 points. 14 minutes left in the game.
And it's terrific to see that two of players out of the three. Gary Ablett probably could have had a shot too. He's given it to somebody in a better position who in turn set the goal up for James Kelly. So it's just Chapman's kick was just a beauty.
And it was great play from Campbell Brown. He couldn't do much else. He spoilt the ball and thought, I've done my job. But Gary Ablett, he is just pounces on that loose ball. And as you said, his vision with hands is first class.
Hawthorn coach's box, Alistair Clarkson, Todd Viney, Damien Hardwick. Got some work to do. The clearance for Bartel. Doesn't travel far. Guerra. Mitchell. Had one of his best afternoons wide. McGlynn. Late replacement for Ladson. Nice ball to Birchall. Big long kick towards full forward. Dixon's got a couple to beat. Williams, he was dived on. Umpire said it was not in the back. Dixon somehow rakes it free. It's a behind.
A let off there from Matty Scarlett. He went for the grab, David, and unfortunately come to ground level and Mark Williams pounced.
It's difficult because Williams looked like he might get a commit to the aerial one too, so he got stuck.
Oh. Nathan Ablett drives it long to his brother. Gary's on the move. One grab, not the second. Might start something though from 50. He might go all the way himself. Spears it for a behind.
How many times have they done that at the backyard at home, Dwayne? Nathan to Gary.
I do have a sister. It's a pity she can't play. There's the more Ablets, the better.
I think she can.
Guerra sends it towards Bateman. Good use of the body. Bartel. Caught, good tackle. Gets it up to Enright. Ablett again. Inboard, hoping for Johnson. Birchall, good tackle. Bartel. Presnell from 50. Breeze pushes this ball. It's to the goal square. Thumped through by Taylor. Another behind.
Lack of experience there from Presnell, David. Just had an opportunity to look inside to Stokes and run, and even himself run and carry and take a few more steps. You'll have a look at that on the tape and thought, gee, I had more time.
And Brown releasing Ablett. He's just sitting back and letting him come up and being a bit of a havoc outside the 50. Can't do that. Got to put pressure him all the way.
Campbell Brown. Xavier Ellis, big task, and he commits. Takes the mark on the wing. Spent last year on the Hawthorn list, but of course playing school football. And he bangs it along. Hodge couldn't quite rake it in. Good punch by Milburn. Handball from King, terrible. Picked off by Crawford, and he nails it.
Well, he's like an eagle there, Shane Crawford, or a hawk we might say. He just swooped on this loose ball. We see Xavier Ellis kicked the ball to a great contest there, and Stephen King got the ball a little bit laconic, David, running away from goal.
Yeah,
hands.
it was a bit laconic, but smart uses now. Crawford's gone in to lift his rating. They put Mitchell to half forward as they've done in previous games. He's at half forward on Ling now.
First goal of the afternoon for Shane Crawford, back to a 3-point margin. 70 plays 67. And we've played 11 minutes final term. Hawks with a slight breeze. Taylor from the ball up. Bartel, leg strength to Kelly. Lewis chases him down to halfback. It's almost worth a kick. Prismal wide. Johnson bounced unkindly for him and Bateman. Wachinski. Run down by Franklin. Good tackle. McGlynn. Gee, Crawford's got some space again. Thought about a 60-metre drop punt. Pokes it wide. Ellis pops up the pass. Too disciplined. Goes to full forward. Scarlett off hands. Mackey. Boys in defence. Not a lot to go to. Wobbles it towards the wing. Bateman. Another poor bounce. Johnson. Chapman. Back to Blake. He might have to kick it for a change. No. Handballs to Johnson.
Great pressure, Hawthorn.
And Johnson slides it to Mooney. They get out of it. Mooney about to send the Cats inside 50. Nathan Ablett. A little shepherd for Wachinski by Nathan Ablett. Kept Geelong out of the contest. And Wachinski has it. 52 from goal. Long to the goal square. Ablett's waiting. Up they fly, and Burns couldn't bring it down either. Only a behind.
Might be my imagination, but Geelong are looking very potent once they get it into their 50. I get him very anxious in that rim.
Hodge. Held up by Burns. Jacobs. It's away from Mooney. Nice pass over the top to Birchall. Corralled by Milburn, who played on. Loops the handball to Osborne. Puts him under pressure. He ducked into the tackle. Sewell. It's away from Chapman. Wobbles it towards Franklin. Tough one to mark. Egan knows it. Knocked down by Dixon. Franklin tried to bounce it to his own advantage. Dixon shrugs the tackle to Crawford, to Mitchell, around Ling. Has the shot. No, he centres it. Hoping for Hodge. He can finish it off. Put the Hawks in front. Handball over the top. Ellis, they're in front.
It reminded me of Dave Parko, but you've got to be ready for your moment. And Sammy Mitchell, how good was that?
Well, he not only won it under pressure, and might have been tempted to have a whack at it at this stage of the game. Squared it up, and a beautiful kick really across to Hodge. Didn't quite, but landed his pathway over the top, and a goal to young Ellis, which is fantastic.
What's the mark of a great leader, isn't it? It's not working for you. You're getting tagged out of the game, but you've just got to keep working away and have an impact for your team at the right time.
Nice time to kick your first ever goal in AFL football. Xavier Ellis puts the Hawks in front by 2 points. 10 minutes from time. 73-71. Lewis with the clearance. Thought about a handball to Hodge to Dixon through traffic. Sewell. Long bomb. Williams doesn't go for it. Johnson does. Williams tried to crumb it. Franklin. Handball good from Bateman. Spins around. High kick to the goal square. Drifting across the face. Only a behind. Rowan Smith.
And that's your mate, Joe Silla.
One player who's really lifted for the Hawthorn Footy Club is Shane Crawford. A little bit of experience, just willing his side to win.
Was that a handball action you were giving me down there for Franklin? Never came into his head. Never even thought, never even considered it was a second opportunity.
Well, he has another look. He had Ben McGlynn.
I know, yeah.
10 metres, goal side.
3-point lead to the Hawks. Scarlett wide. Enright. Hawk City numbers back. Chapman. Held up by Sewell.
Well, this is what you train and play for all pre-season, David. In these situations, there's 3 points in it. There's 9 minutes to go. Every decision, every contest is crucial. Something on the end of it.
Sewell chases him down, puts the pressure on. Enright shrugs the Lewis tackle, and the kick is good to Prismal. Corralled by Dixon. Geelong coach's box. Some experience there. Neil Baum included. Ling wrapped up in the tackle, holding the ball.
All day, Hawthorn have been the better tackling team out here today, and if they win this game of footy, I suggest it'll be the pressure and the tackling they've put on the Geelong ball carriers.
And it's the local Tassie boy, local star rower turned footballer, Simon Taylor. Good tackle goes to Gillum. Spears the kick towards attacking 50. Williams tried to shrug Scarlett, who brought him down and brought him down high.
Caught a throw.
Or was it a throw? Was it?
A throw.
And 50.
He's got 50.
Well, you can claim you don't know, I suppose. And he played on thinking, as we did in the box, that it was a high tackle, and in fact it was a throw, so it's cost him 50. I don't think it's a massive penalty at this time. In fact, it's not if you took out the measuring tape.
Here we see Williams get it.
bit hard to handle when you've got your jumper pulled over your eyes.
Line ball, that one.
Yeah.
A little bit harsh.
Scarlett, long. Nathan Abbott and Ling down there. Jacobs knocks it down to Guerra. Bouncing ball. Bateman's got 4 to beat here. He's got Johnson, Egan, and then Mackie with the bump. And Johnson's kicks the wobbler. Back to Scarlett. They get out of trouble. Hunt. Bartell. Mooney will have to go from 4 deep. Can't get anywhere near it. Prismal runs into Mitchell. Ling to Kelly. Good tackling again, Birchall. Handball to Corey. Mitchell, not only the smother, but the gather off it.
Excellent.
Birchall, wide to Boyle. Takes the mark on Scarlett. Plays on, centering kick. Perfect kick. Ellis. He could kick his first 2 goals in AFL football back-to-back and extend the Hawthorn lead to 9 points.
He reads it well, Dan. I'm just saying on Ellis now. I've watched him carefully set himself up for those 2. He hasn't run deep stupidly. He sized it all up and really snuck in with his low, sneaky little run into the far side and has been used perfectly in the corridor.
Arguably the biggest kick in his short career, and he misses.
Well, the positive for the Hawks is Sam Mitchell. He's having a real impact in this last quarter. That was magnificent through the middle of the ground. The smother, the gather, to take the opposition on, to get the handball out to someone who was free was excellent.
Highlight replay tape tomorrow for sure.
Oh.
Scarlett. Dangerous ball for Egan. Got out of it. In fact, he made it Mackey's problem. And he's dumped Egan by Boyle. We'll get a ball up.
It is such a good kick, Dwayne. I mean, it just puts his teammates under unbelievable pressure by grubbing one into him. It just had to hit him on the chest and we can hold up again.
As we're ticking to time on in this final term. Corey, dispossessed. Prismal keeps it in with Ellis, the 2 number 32s. And we'll get another ball up on 50.
I think the fatigue set in a little bit now, Dan. I think they've worked so hard with and without the ball, both teams, that it is starting to drop off now.
4-point lead to the Hawks. Blake in the ruck, who's done well today. Corey, Bartell, caught by Mitchell. Tackling again for Hawthorn, exceptional. And yet again, holding the ball. A drag in. This is a raffle. We don't quite know whose it is. It's like a game of Twister. And it's Bartell's. Scarlett. Prismal. Wachinski runs through Guerra. And now Mackie. Chance for the Cast to take the lead back. Tom Hawkins. Been a tough afternoon at the office for him.
Good boy,
Geelong. Birchall. Jacobs. Dixon. And he lays the tackle. He couldn't knock it on well, but it's a brilliant tackle. No prior opportunity for Chapman, and he's caught dead. Paul Chapman had no opportunity then, and the Hawks come up with it. Crawford. Franklin's calling for it. Sewell puts it in his direction. He's got 2 to beat here. Franklin, front spot, dumped clear by Egan. We'll get a ball in.
Here we see Chapman get the ball. Well, that's just a ball. Gee, the ball wasn't even in his arms and Dixon already tackled him.
Blake, front spot. Hands and knees. Franklin spins it around. No thought of a handball or behind.
He's got Araldite on his hands.
And it's a 5-point lead to the Hawks.
Oh, Dan, with 3 of us saw it exactly the same way. Prior opportunity, it was 100th of a second. That is disgraceful umpiring in the context of what we want this game and how we want it to be played.
Have the Cats got one last goal of them? Bartell, long fly by Mitchell.
Yeah,
he's got the spare man. Tough one this. Egan into Ellis. Ellis collects it. Makes it tough for Bateman. Ball still alive. The Cats collect it. Bartell back to Chapman. They know they need a goal to win it. Back to Bartell, and they've got inside 5 minutes to get it. Chapman, and he's held up. 76-71. Cats have led at every change. And he pokes it to the midfield, and Ling. Held up by McGlynn. And Cameron Ling finds Kelly.
Well, this is an important entry here.
Tom Hawkins calls for it short. Lead is honoured. Got hands to it and collects the mark. Got a couple of ablets calling for it.
Hawthorn dropping back.
Sends it high. Cam Mooney, can he get to the front spot? Campbell gets there, takes the mark.
That's what you want from your ruckman under this situation. Just drop back, put your body in the hole.
Dixon. All the way back in defence. One of the great Hawk goal kickers of all time. In fact, by the end of this year, he'll be number 10 all time on the Hawthorn goal kicking list. Ben Dixon. Chip kick wide. Sewell. In one of the better battles of the afternoon, Chapman versus Sewell. With 3.5 minutes left. Time the enemy as well.
Brian, he's been terrific in that he knows when to kick it short, and he knows when to kick it long, and he knows when to kick it onto the boundary line and run it out of bounds.
Where's Dennis Committee when you need him?
Oh, that's perfect, wasn't it? If you're going to lose it, that's where you want to lose at this stage.
That's a smart kick. Excellent kick, Brad Sewell.
King, in his first game back for 2007 with Campbell. Half a win for Campbell. It's a ball up.
The only thing that can improve on that kick from Brad Sewell is actually get one of their half forwards to lead to the boundary line to force it over with hands. And that wasn't deliberate, but the umpire, I've seen them play them.
Yep.
Lewis from the ball up. Third man up, thanks it down. Crawford's direction, slips. Lays the tackle on Prismal. Crawford's locked this in and he's calling for the free kick. And the boundary line wins. Rowan Smith.
Foxtel's coverage is actually on the big screen here, boys, so they'll know how much time is left. It's going to play into Hawthorn's hands, I think.
Inside 3 minutes to full time. And everybody at the ground knows it. Wachinski into trouble. And no holding the ball decision there from the umpire.
That is well picked up from Rowan Smith. That's amazing how you can see the time clock ahead, 2:49. Everyone in the whole stadium knows there's exactly 2 minutes, 49 seconds to play.
Bounce, King. Egan gets the kick away. Chance for the Cats here. Birchall gets there first, but Kelly gathers it. Gives to Corey. On the burst, spearing kick, Mooney.
Well done, Jacobs.
Good punch away by Danny Jacobs. Hodge ducked into the tackle by Corey. Now he's got it. He's gone.
Well, that's the evener up, boys.
That's true.
But it's still not good enough. He had no prior opportunity whatsoever, Luke Hodge.
And is half concussed, wobbly on his feet. Temps into play on. Cats in a mark. Mooney flies, can't bring it down. Up to Stokes, needs to kick this for the Cats to take the lead. It's across the face. Behind. 2 minutes left. Let's hope they hear the siren.
Well, Geelong have to man up here. They have to man up one-on-one four-squarer to kick to a contest.
Well, even if they force a huddle, it doesn't matter, does it now? You've got to get one-on-one now. Absolutely.
Well done, Geelong. They've manned up everywhere all over the ground.
It's good.
Guerra makes it tough for Osborne. He'll be forced to give it back. They could even rush it behind here, the Hawks. That might be a win. Osborne's got it under him. Umpire waits and plays the ball up. Umpire Stewart went in the spot.
Well, it was well done from Geelong, but under the pump, Brent Guerra get it long and wide out of the goal face.
Cats need a goal to hit the front. Osborne. And it's out of play. Ball in.
What was Osborne trying to do there? I mean, he's bringing it back out with his left hand into play. That was what he's attempting to do.
It'll be Taylor and King to do the ruck work. They tie up. King tries to slap it back, then tries to get the kick. And another pack, another ball up. The clock stops at 1:37. Both these teams came into this game with a 2-win, 1-loss record.
Geelong need to get away from this stoppage, open it up for one of their midfielders or a forward pocket.
Taylor and King side by side. Ball knocked down towards Chapman. Can he get the snap away? Tackled by Guerra. Holding the ball. She didn't have a lot of time.
Oh,
I might have to get that DVD again and have another look at it from the umpires, and the players might need to as well. Guerra back to Lewis.
there's still plenty of time. All Geelong have to do is go man on man and force Brad Sewell to kick to a contest, and there's still a chance.
Sewell, Crawford. She ran hard, Crawford. Stokes edges him under the ball. Still a chance for the Cats. 60 seconds from time. The boundary line, a win for Hodge. But still plenty of time if you can get a clearance and a mark inside 50. King, front spot, short throw in. Handball over the head of Stokes. Another ball in.
You thought it'd be forward, Dwayne, but Crawford has been exceptional in his work out this quarter. Absolutely exceptional.
It's been a tight, tense tussle. It's going down to the wire. Lewis to Sewell. Loads it up long. They just need to mark the Hawks in their home. Punch away from Scarlett. Good. Wachinski. He can collect and go. Has a bounce. Runs back into the corridor, and they've got the free man. There's time here. Egan to Hunt. Not a lot to go to by foot. Egan back to Hunt. They need a mark. He spears it. Mooney.
He's got to get it moving.
Too far out to score. Loads up. Tom Hawkins is
Taylor.
there. Ablett's there. Taylor's there.
That's it.
And he can chew up the remaining seconds. This has been a victory with heart for the Hawks. Siren, the Tasmanian Hawks at home, after being down at every change, claw their way back in the final term with the breeze and win a thriller by 4 points.
This has been a Fox Sports production.